This article goes over reasons why immigration could never be the answer to low birth rate. So, and this is currently something that many of the European countries are doing, including North America and Canada, where they are lacking in births. They are trying to fill in those gaps with immigration. And I have to agree with this author, Michael Master, that that's not really the answer. It will not work. But let's get into this article. I'm going to go down a bit. Why is America suffering from not enough available workers? Simple. For the last half century, the US suffered from too few births to American citizens. Today, the birth rate in the US is 1.7 per woman, while at least 2.1 is needed to sustain the population. Not enough births are occurring to replace those people who age and die. Of that 1.7, white women are at, listen to this, 0.9. 0.9, y'all. That is way, way below 2.1. While Blacks are a little above with 2.0. All of the growth in the US population is from immigrants with birth rates well above 3.0. Canada, Europe, Japan, China, and Russia all suffer from the same problem, birth rates that are too low. The problem is so bad for white women throughout the world that the population of Caucasians dropped from 900 million, a quarter of the world's population, to 700 million, 10% of the world's population. That's huge. So their drop is worldwide, no matter what country they are in. If you have a bunch of Caucasians there, the birth rate is low. While the total world population doubled in size, at this rate, the world white population will shrink to 500 million, 5% of the world's population, while the world population increases to 10 billion from the current 7.2 billion. Wow. Now you know why they are acting out the way that they are. But the bottom line of the whole matter, y'all, all of that acting out is not going to change their situation. It really isn't. Prior economists asserted that the birth rate fell because of weak economies. That's not why. You know, every country is not suffering from a weak economy. So if you look at, like he said, a half a century, right? 50 years, the population among whites have been on a decline. The economy was not bad during that entire 50-year period. And plus, we went through those recessions as well. We didn't drop. Okay. So, no, it is not economic. Current feminists assert that women should not have children because of global warming. It's almost like they're trying to mask and disguise the fact that this is really a genetic thing by throwing all of these other reasons into it. I mean, look, we're living through the same global warming. So what about the people that are not going through low birth rates and we're living through global warming? Both are excuses for not having children, not the root causes. I agree. This low birth rate started 50 years ago through good and bad economies, exactly as the draft was eliminated, Roe versus Wade went into effect. Women, more women enrolled in college and socialism. Yeah, that's right. I mean, everybody was into their own lifestyle. So that couldn't possibly be the reason global warming and the economy. No. If the population of a country is not growing, as in Russia, China, Japan, Germany, then the only way that the economies of those countries can grow is by increasing exports, which makes them dependent on the economies of other countries as their customers. That is the main reason why all of those economies are suffering economically today. Too much dependence on exports, no internal growth of consumption. Those Americans who were born in the early 1900s are called the greatest generation. The weathered they weathered the Great Depression, World War II, Korea, even put a man on the moon, which we know that's fake. They created the baby boom from 1945 to 1965, which fueled the greatest economic boom in the history of the world from 1975 to 2005. They were overwhelmingly capitalists and Christians. If you take the countries of the world and sort them into groups according to dominant race for each country, you will find that the more socialist, sacralist countries in each racial group also have the lowest birth rates in each group. As stated in my books, the United States government was well aware of this low birth rate problem as business executive lobbied for more immigrants more than 30 years ago. So for 50 years, they already knew their birth rate was going in the toilet. So they knew for a long time. I'm telling you, they had to know. Especially, excuse me, especially when you see exactly when the decline started. It started in the 50s. And it never bounced back up. It just kept going on a decline. Just like addictive drugs, immigration is an easy, immediate fix with long term dangerous side effects if used too long and too often. Immigration is outsourcing births with all the same negative effects of outsourcing product manufacturing. Made in America need to apply to births, not just products. When immigration was introduced to offset the low birth rate, the H-1B and H-2B and green card programs were meant to be short-term gap programs until the nation could implement programs to increase the citizen birth rate. Well, as with most government programs, short-term gap became long-term permanent. Well, that just go to show you when they had to turn to immigration 30 years ago, they knew they would never be able to get their numbers up. To me, that's an indicator. You can tell me what you think in the comment section, but when they saw the birth rate was not going nowhere 30 years ago, when they start bringing in immigrants by the droves 30 years ago, That right there was a clear indicator they weren't reproducing even then. Wow. Trump is attacking the low birth rate problems with tax reform, with cuts to immigration, with pro religion statements, and with a focus to make America great again. More needs to be done. Those things, I don't know why they think throwing money at this whole thing is going to turn around a birth rate. If you are genetically unable to reproduce, it doesn't matter what money people try to offer you. Look, in Europe, they've been doing the money thing for babies forever now, and it's not increasing the babies over there. So that should tell you right there money is not the answer to what's going on. More can be done, but allowing more immigration will just prolong the problem and eventually kill the America we all love. Well, the America some of you love. Businesses will take the short term gap fix and ignore doing anything about long term reality. American businesses need to go cold turkey to kick the habit of reliance on the drug of immigrant employees. Yeah, because they love the immigrant employee because they will work pennies on the dollar. That's why they love them. Cheap labor, slaves, new slaves. That is the only way business will support what is necessary to fix the low birth rate by reducing legal immigration and stopping illegal immigration. Some very smart government and business executives will be forced to come up with some very creative fix to the low birth rate. They can't. They can't. Having a bunch of men sit around the table, because we know the vast majority of executives in America are men, talking about fixing this, you ain't gonna put a dent in this. I'm just telling you, you're not gonna put a dent in it. You're just talking and wasting your time. Just have a party. At least you'll enjoy it. They use immigration, then this problem will fester and even grow worse, as with any other addiction. Okay, so he's just going over things that could fix the birth rate. One, reinstate the draft. Every man and woman must serve at 18. That's not going to happen. But they do have selective service for women now. At least $12,000 tax deduction per child until 22. Child care leave and on site child care at work. Pro family high school classes and pro family entertainment, pro family country society. No government funds to those who provide abortions. More high tech education and trade offerings in high school. More capitalism, religion, less socialism, and secularism. Um, those things aren't going to work. He is missing the mark because he's not looking at anything genetically to fix it. So those things that he lists are not going to work. Look at Hungary. It is shutting down immigration and attacking the birth rate problem head on, which will pay huge yields for Hungary in the long run. Not really. Hungary already said their birth rate is well below replacement, and they're offering like payments for homes and cars and things like that, money for women so that they can stay home and raise their families. But even they said, it's not a guarantee that's going to work, and it won't work. I mean, look, this is a global problem for them. It's not a money fix. But I think these folks are so used to money being the answer to everything, they don't realize money is not going to bring them back to a normal birth rate. Money is just money, just that. It don't have that kind of miracle to make this explosion of births around the country. But what are you going to do when people are used to believing that? And that's really what it is boiled down to. They are used to believing money is the fix to everything. It is not going to fix what's wrong with them. What we are seeing, ladies and gentlemen, is natural selection. It is. You had your time on the planet. Now it's time to go. I mean, you can go kicking and screaming, but you're still going to go. But I guess one day from Master here, his thinking will change. Now, I agree with some of the things that he said in here, but definitely not everything. I don't believe immigration is the answer to low birth rate. I don't believe there is a real true answer for it, except for it's a process that can't be stopped. It's going to happen. And there's nothing anybody can do to stop it. If man's medicine was so powerful that it could turn around a low birth rate, trust me, this has been going on for 50 years. We would have seen it by now. It don't take all this time to come up with a solution. They haven't come up with one because there isn't one. Please tell me what you think, ladies and gentlemen. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.